Okay.
Hey, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Amazing.
Feeling
Lovely morning.
excited for this interview?
Yes. This has been on my bucket list for a while. It was like from TikTok to the stage. Come on, guys.
Man, the power of social media.
Yes. And Twitter DMs, to be honest, actually.
Twitter DMs. I was like, okay, let me try and shoot my shot. Honestly, Twitter DMs. I've gotten a lot of interviews from Twitter DMs.
Yes.
I was from don't sleep on Twitter, guys. Don't sleep on Twitter. I'm here today with Natanya. My name is Elsie.
Yes.
How are you feeling today?
Very calm, to be honest. The weather has kind of calmed down. It was raining before, but honestly, like this room is so beautiful with the plants.
Yeah.
And, like, your energy is very calming.
Very zen.
Yeah, it's brought me right back down. I was on FaceTime with my friend on the way here as well, so I had a few keys in the morning.
We love to see it.
Yes.
So you're coming all the way from the UK.
I am.
Do you feel like that gives you a unique edge in the way that you navigate the spaces over here in North America?
Interesting. It gives you, it's like a sheen over you. So you're kind of protected from a lot of the things that I guess American artists might complain about.
Oh, I see.
Because you're like, being British is rare and people are excited about it and they want to know what goes on in your country. And I think people are really enamored with the music scene over there too. So to see someone come out of the UK to visit, like, it really warms people's hearts, you know?
Speaking of the music scene, I don't know. There's something special in the UK water, in my opinion. Like, I've been saying it within the past 4 or 5 years. I think some of my favorite music has come out of there.
Really?
Like from Cleo Soul to Little Sims to Jungle to Elmine, like Ray.
Yes.
I mean, there's so many. What do you think is in the water as someone that's
Honestly,
there?
so much untapped talent, like hunger, and honestly, lack of infrastructure just makes people just so determined to express themselves and be heard. And by the time they are, they're almost like the final. They're like the final form, you know.
I see.
Whereas like in other countries, I think people get noticed a lot earlier. So
So they kind of have that room to kind of grow before the world kind of catches on.
For better or for worse.
For better or for worse. But sometimes I think it's better like that.
I do agree.
Because the world and social media is a little hard on people.
It is.
Especially with artist development these days. Anyone could catch maybe a performance of you and just dissect the hell out of it. And it's like...
It's scary, isn't it?
It can be really hard. What did your parents think about you doing music? Because we're just talking about, you just finished university. How was it like, the whole experience?
Honestly, my parents are so supportive. As long as I can stand there with my foot down and say, I want to do this, my parents will support me. But it was an unconventional route and they were kind of like, what the hell are you? Like, are you sure? And like the background I come from is either like you're Beyonce, you're homeless. So they were just like, I think you should be a lawyer. And, slowly just by like doing the work and like bringing back proof of everything I've achieved, like they're starting to settle into this, But I come from a very academic family, Tiger parents, Christian, very different environment to the one I'm about to, enter into.
One thing I read when I was just doing some research here that was very, very, I think, intriguing was that you're classically trained.
I am, yes.
Which I don't know, because from what I usually see with people that are classically trained, it's almost like their parents kind of set them up to have a musical career. So like, how was, because I started learning piano very early too.
Really?
I was kind of like 8 years old.
Okay, good age, yeah.
And like, I used to sing a lot as a kid.
Damn.
Actually, one of my dreams was to go on The Voice or X Factor. Well, that never happened.
Well, your voice is being heard right now.
In a different way
Yes.
than I ever anticipated. But how was that classical training? Do you think that has given you an advantage going into your musical career? How was that for you?
Honestly, like the classical training and also jazz when I was about 14, it gave me a lot of confidence in the studio because it helped me develop a sense of like arrangement, what I'm looking for out of my music. And when I'm sat down making stuff, I kind of trust myself when I'm, I have a suggestion or a decision, especially being a girl. It's like, no, I know this because I've done it. Like I live my raps. And my mom got me into piano for a specific reason because she wanted to sing.
That's interesting.
Imagine that, yes. she came to London like with this dream of maybe potentially, you know, being more visible. Because
what type of music was she making?
I think she was in love with like Salt and Pepper and Janet Jackson. She cut her hair. Yeah.
R&B. Okay, that's interesting.
She was belting. I could compare her voice to like Tina Turner.
Ooh.
I don't know if she'll like that, but yeah.
So she was like, my daughter is gonna be my pianist.
Yes, basically. She did a few auditions and she just didn't understand the technical terminology. Like when they say sing that an octave higher, she'd be like, what do you mean?
What's that?
And I think the embarrassment just like killed her so much. She was like, my daughter needs to know everything about music theory. Like she needs to understand this. For whatever reason, I don't even know if she wanted me to be a musician. She's just like, she needs for her own pride, you know?
Did she ever teach herself?
No. I think she got knocked out. It was too much. It was like, what, the 90s?
Oh, I see.
Yeah, the type of people that were walking around in the industry like back then, if you didn't know anything.
If you didn't know anything, it's like, sorry.
You know?
We get it. Honestly, that's interesting. Wow. I don't know, my dad was like, every one of my siblings needs to learn an instrument.
Really?
So I started off with the violin. It didn't really work out. Went to the piano. He was like, my brother played trumpet. My sister played violin. Like, I think he was trying to make a band. I don't know what he's trying to do. But...
Jackson, how many siblings? Jackson.
Yeah.
But also, it's like it's a status symbol as well to be able to like understand like art and culture.
Music, yeah.
I do think for certain ethnic families, it signifies something to them.
Privilege, really, because a lot of them didn't get the chance to do that as kids. That is 100% true. I was listening to your new EP. I'm so glad I got an early listen. Like I felt very privileged when I got that sent over to me. Feline's Return.
Very true, yes.
I love that name. I was wondering like if you could shed a little more light what that represents, what that means to you.
Feline's Return is like the last year and a half of my life. I was really specific about trying to choose a title that represented like the hunger that I have to really make a statement on the industry. Last summer, I went on this tour with Destin Conrad through Europe, and I'm sure we'll get into that later down the line.
I have some questions.
But when I got to Berlin, like my management like ran out of like funding, and like there was a whole hoo-ha, and they basically just left.
What?
And yeah, it was out of this world. Like I was 20,
oh my God,
20,
I can't imagine
21.
That.
Yeah, listen, my dad flew in, like he helped take me through the rest of the tour. There were 4 more stops left, and it was just like, you know, finishing my dissertation at the same time.
Damn.
Lost my grandma as well. So really like difficult
A lot of emotions.
Right, and then you're finishing uni, and you got to choose a career, and there's just so many things circling your head. And I think at that time, because I was a bit younger as well, like it felt like the end of my world. And I came from such a cool point where people were really discovering
your music.
My music, and loving it. And I just wanted to answer back to all of the love that I got in 2023. It was something as phenomenal. But it really did feel like this like bottom to top of the mountain sort of storyline. And I thought, you know, cats have 9 lives, and they're very self-sufficient. They creep around, and, you know, they just kind of get the job done. And I also think of cats as like, they always negotiate their own comfort way more than dogs. Like dogs will be happy with anything you give them.
Cats are picky.
Very specific, right? And it just kind of represents the way I feel about myself and my career. Like I really do want something specific. Like I'm looking for success and to get there, and the music sounds like it. So I just wanted to represent that entire feeling and come back with a bang.
Man, you seem pretty grounded and pretty, what's the word? Like really tunnel vision. Like you know exactly what you want. What really grounds you in that moment? Because I'm a very emotional person. If that happened to me, like happened on tour, I probably would have crashed out. Like jumped off the nearest cliff, really. So what really kept you going? Like in those moments, apart from, yes, your dad being amazing and coming in to be a support system in that moment, but I can imagine the internal conversations you were having with yourself at the time.
Honestly, it was chaos. Like I'll be real with you. I was in Berlin airport like sobbing, and it was the day Boombox came out. So
really?
Yeah, I was like, damn, like girl, I failed. Yeah, you know, it was difficult, but I say this, you know, here and now when I speak to people about it, but mainly just like God or like the universe proving to me, even if I don't believe myself, just like making sure that it's undeniable even to me, so that every time I let my insecurities or emotions get the better of me, at the end of the day, like he's always saving it, you know, he's always like your talent is going to speak for itself. So that's what's keeping me grounded right now.
I love that.
And also just traveling, like meeting new people, having more experiences, and realizing
really
that the world is
widens
bigger.
your perspective. Traveling, I recommend it to so many people. Like you go out, you see new spaces. It kind of just widens your world.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just helps you to understand that like the problems that you think are so massive, everyone's living them, one. And two, like they can be sorted out, you know? The amount of people you speak to that have crazy character arcs, you know, that
which is insane.
So
I mean, it was pretty crazy. This morning I had a little like emotional thing. I was just thinking of how much like I was funding everything and I'm like, what even is going on? And then I had my boyfriend remind me.
Yes.
And he was just like, yo, remember there was a time that you wanted to do this and you didn't even know how you were going to do it.
Right.
And it just really reminded me that every new phase comes with its own problems.
Exactly.
You just have to be prepared for that. If you want to level up, you have to be ready for new problems.
You've got to be able to fight differently.
So that's what it is.
Yes, for sure.
One thing I loved about Feline's return was it felt more pop leaning than your former EP. Was that intentional?
Yeah. It was. During that summer, I watched Thriller 50.
Oh, yeah, that is the one to watch.
Let me know. My family are massive Michael Jackson and Janet fans. And I just saw how he had this vision of leveling up from what people already expected of him, you know? He's like a big inspiration. But he was just kind of this sort of like, I'm never going to let no be an answer like person. And he had this goal of making a project where every single song could have been a single.
Been a hit, right.
And I was so inspired by that, you know, and it was matching with the feelings I had of rejection at the time. So when I got to the piano, like even some of the demos, like they sound so different. But when I was in the studio, every choice was so specific. I mean, I was anal, like I was terrible to work with because I was like,
you know exactly what you want. I get it though.
Specific, you know, driving myself like working till like the morning every single session. But the pop leaning choice was intentional. I think I don't want to be boxed in by any
I like
category.
that. I really like that because one thing that audiences do, which unfortunately just puts artists in a box. Like you do a project and then, you know, if you try to do anything different, if you've been doing that sound for a while, it's like, oh my God, what are you doing?
Right.
And especially Black artists, you know, the R&B, like you make any type of music, it's like, oh, you're R&B. You know, so I really love the fact that you're kind of just making that known at this point that I could do both if I want to do both.
And also just like, it doesn't matter like where you end up, you know what your roots have always been. Like Sorry at Sunrise is almost like this beginning, it's a prologue to the future, and it doesn't dictate anything that I'm going to do musically in the next 10 years or whatever.
I love that.
But it just lets people know, like, when they start going backwards, like, this is where she began.
It's a good foundation.
She's got substance behind everything she does, you know?
Right. 23 was the first one I heard by you. I really also love Precious Joy. Every person I played that song for is like, oh my God, this is crazy. So I just want to say that because I think it was the writing on 23. It felt very witty in a way. Like I got what you were trying to say, but it also felt like you approached that song from a very comedic way. I really love the writing on that, and that was busted out to me. I was like, "What the songwriting on here is really good." And then the sound design.
Yes.
You know, I like at the end. It was like there was kind of a car crash at the end, and I was like, "Okay." I mean,
so you got it then?
Yeah, I do.
Okay. Wow. Not many people understand the meaning of it. Yeah, like some people use it for their birthday and stuff like that. I'm like,
oh no, that is not the birthday song.
Yeah, that was not the message.
But I was 23 when I heard that song, so I was like, okay, you know, I get it. So I kind of related to it in a different way. One thing you mentioned that I really just want to talk about before anything else is that you mentioned that your family, huge fans of Michael and Janet. Yeah. How did it feel seeing yourself on Janet Jackson's story? That was huge.
I was so excited. I was like, what? Obviously, I know she has a massive team, right? But I know that like she has to approve everything that goes on.
Of course,
she's
very picky about that.
Okay, thank you for telling me.
She's very picky about that. Even down to sampling, people that sample her, she's extremely picky about that.
Yeah, she did take a bit of time to clear some things in the past, even with British artists. So I was proud, you know.
100%.
I remember like being in love with someone to call my lover before anybody on any app Like, I was listening to that
Speak
song
on
walking
it.
home from the
Right.
station. People don't know, and I just knew. Like, I was obsessed to the point that like some of the music that's gonna come out later was like really inspired by it, and everyone was like, "Yeah, it's okay." And the next thing you know, it's viral.
It's blowing up. You know, that's the thing that always happens.
Yes,
And
that's what
it's
I'm
like
saying.
I have to tell people all the time. Like,
Thank
I knew
you.
this before.
This
everyone.
is what the crate diggers. Listen to the crate diggers,
Right.
girl. I'm sorry, that cover was old as well. Like, it's almost like nearly like from
Man.
2024. Like, winter 2024. I was like, how did she find this? My dad also, he's a very stoic man. Like, he lifted me up for the first time in like 10 years. Because yeah,
Imagine how
he's,
that
like, obsessed.
feels.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because my dad is very stoic too.
Yes.
So when he has a reaction, I'm like, I did something
This is real now. So yeah, it felt great.
Love that. I think I texted you when I first heard Dangerous that it really reminded me of young Beyonce,
Yeah.
especially Dangerously in Love. Like, I don't know. Was she on the mood board for
She
that?
was.
Yeah.
Oh, I shouldn't have said that's okay. I'm gonna let you finish, bro. Yeah, I listened to a lot of self-titled when I was making the album. I'm obsessed with people that are at the top of their field. Like, I love people that go in and work hard and dominate and master what they do. And Beyonce is also one of those women that her production choices are very experimental, but then she brings R&B vocals, and people don't give her enough credit for that.
You get it.
You know, and as a person who feels like that's who they are, I was like, this woman's speaking to me like no
Right.
angel, haunted, you know? I was like, yeah, this is kind of where I want to go musically. So yeah, Dangerous was very inspired by her and like all the things she did early on, even the flows and you know, the chop and screw thing at the end.
I love the chop and screw thing at the end. I feel like it added a very, like the track was already great, but that just added a very nice layer just to close it off.
I'm excited
I love
for
that
everyone
creative
to hear it.
choice. Is that your favorite Beyonce album, self-titled?
I would say so. I do love like everything that she's done, and like a lot of her early stuff is amazing, very creative. Even like the Rich Harrison beats, I could geek about them all day.
Right.
But self-titled just feels like a statement to the point where she understood exactly who she was as
That
an
is my
individual.
favorite Beyonce album because I feel like it's the album that separates what we see Beyonce as today.
Exactly.
And like what she was.
Yes.
And she was talented all through, but like you said, it felt like she realized like who she really was.
She stopped being afraid to be weird.
Right.
Like, not to speak on her feet, obviously don't. Not to speak on her, but like you can always tell when an artist like realizes
Kinda
it's
holding
okay
back
to
a
be
little,
weird.
yeah.
It's like, okay, I'm gonna do Haunted. Like, what is
Right.
Haunted?
What
It's
even
weird,
is that? Right.
You know? But it's amazing. Very
It was
touching.
amazing. 100%. One thing I love and I feel like makes you stand out is the fact that you produce your own music. How has that been, you know, especially as a woman, you know, navigating those spaces? How did you even get into producing? Because I know, honestly, I could play an instrument, but I feel like I'm lost when it comes to actually producing. So
Really?
how was that crossover for you?
When I was about 15 years old, I went to a jazz school on Saturdays. And like I loved playing jazz, but like I wasn't the most confident pianist like in terms of soloing. However, every single morning we would do a warm-up and we'd have to like split this entire massive circle into basically different stems and make them make an a cappella.
Oh, I see.
And they'd always call me, and I was like the new kid. I was really like tiny, and I did one day, and the teacher Julian Joseph called me back, and he was like, "I need to just tell you before you go to class, like you have a talent for arrangement. Like never forget that." And by that time, I'd never seen Logic before in my life. I'd never even like touched any arrangement, whatever. So then I'm taking that like on with me as I'm moving around like the school and stuff, and then for music GCSEs, we finally get to like use the computers, and then the music teacher at school taught us how to use Logic. And I was obsessed. Every lunchtime, I would just sit there after school. I'd sit there. I was late home a lot, and I just kept on like developing that. But I always felt like I had this knack for understanding sound. Like when I listened to like even rap songs, I was never like concerned about the lyrics. I love learning them.
The arrangement.
The sampling. Like I love finding like what the original sample was on crate digging. And Tyler the Creator, like fell in love with Cherry. So it was just like a whole like saga of me being 14 and just being exposed to so much music.
Discovering it.
But yeah, growing up and doing that and being a girl that says that they produce, I do think people really misunderstand what you mean by that. Like they don't seem to get the message first time, even second time, even when you start making suggestions in the studio. Sometimes they call your bluff. They're like, okay, you produce for us then, you know? So it's not necessarily been the arena in which I got the most like kudos or respect. But I think the more that your music comes out and people hear it, the more respect they will gain for you.
Of course.
You know? And I do dream one day of like leading a team of really talented like session musicians or like arrangers and just like standing there telling them what to do.
Yeah.
I get it, you know, I get it. I get arrangement.
Some people have a special flair for that, honestly. Like I always say, I love music, but I always say if I can't get past what if the production arrangement isn't speaking to me, I probably will get to the lyrics. Yeah, like lyrics probably on the third listen, I'm like, all right, I'm ready to hear the actual words.
Yes, and take what you're saying.
But even the cadence, the flow, everything, I want to hear all that come together really nicely before I start even saying, okay, I really want to hear what you're saying. So I really resonate with that.
Thank you. Yeah.
Also, we talked about your songwriting. What does that process look like?
At the minute, it's going to change when I get back home because I've had so many new experiences here. But at the minute, songs just come out of me. Like, I don't necessarily have any rhythm or rhyme to how I do it. Like, the stories of, like, every song are just always so weird and, like, they have nothing to do with music. I'm watching a movie or I'm taking my hair out, you know, something silly. And then I just sit at the piano. It's the same e-piano that I've had since I was born from Costco. But I just love it so much. It's by Yamaha. And I just start playing around and like sometimes I get these song ideas in my head and I got perfect pitch. I can
kind of hear it.
Yeah, I just know how to play. I don't know. It's like, I think Michael said the same thing where he would always like transcribe any idea he had.
Everything, yeah.
Right? Because he was like, I know this song isn't from me. Like, I know they're not from me, you know? So I get writer's block quite a lot. I don't write until I feel like I can.
Honestly, sometimes it's not worth forcing it.
No, not at all.
Yeah, because you could just burn out.
Yeah, but on the other hand,
quickly.
Doechii has this method where she writes songs every day, like even if they're good or bad.
I saw that.
Really do respect that, and I've tried it. I think it's great, you know? And I think that that might be an approach that I take when I get back home because you experience so many different things. You can't just skip parts as you get older, you know?
I think it takes the tension off too, to just kind of just let the writing just flow and speak.
Yes.
I've been trying to do that even with content because I saw myself like, I saw this quote somewhere that the reason why a creative person will procrastinate is because they take their work too seriously.
Yeah.
And so I try to take a step back and be like, okay, you know, I just want to, let me just try putting out random ideas and see whatever sticks instead of like really getting in my head wanting one thing to be perfect.
Because you're a perfectionist, right?
I'm a perfectionist.
I feel you.
Yep.
I feel you.
Little details, everything. Like, I'm the type to nitpick. I always tell people, like, if you want to work with me, I'm going to nitpick. Like, I'm not the type of person to be hands-off. Some people love, like, just being hands-off. I'm not hands-off.
I feel
anyway.
100% feel you on that. Feel you on that deeply. No, but it's true. Don't take your art too seriously. Like, I do feel like people get into this thing where, you know, when they're trying to create something, they want it to be the best thing they've ever done. And like, oh, what if this could be the song or like the piece of content or like the movie? But if you just kind of get into the flow and you begin to like have this childlike approach to what you're doing, so much more comes out of you because that's where the subconscious is lying, like the kid in you, you know, the person that wasn't worried about what people thought, that wasn't distracted by like potential or like, you know, achievement, just wanted to express themselves. So I do really respect people that have already figured that out. I think that that's the best way to approach things, you know?
That's fact. And I think it's not even easy to tell which one will stick because, like, we're talking about Someone to Call My Lover. Like, when did that song come out? Like, decades ago.
Exactly.
And with social media now, I think I was talking with someone a couple of days ago. We're talking about the Snow Allegra song that's trending.
Yes.
And, like, that came out years ago.
I remember.
You know, so with social media and the way people are set up these days, like, it could be a decade later.
Absolutely.
You know, it could be, you have, like, honestly, I see people be like, oh, I discovered you from this. I'm like, huh? That was like the most random thing ever. Like, what? So I think it's, when you try to control what that big moment is.
Yeah, you get lost.
You just get lost because it might not even be that big moment.
I've been learning that traveling here. I think this has been the biggest perspective shift for me because like I said, I'm very focused on like one goal and I had an idea of exactly what it was going to be. But, you know, the more that I've spoken to people, you know, listened to other people's music, like heard about their plans, even met Snow Allegra, by the way, in Air One.
Oh, amazing.
And she's, we disturbed her, I'm really sorry. But she like had these sunglasses on and she was so chill. You wouldn't know that she was having such a big moment right now. Like it didn't feel like it from the outside, but she's just so calm in that. And I realized like, you just got to continue living and experiencing until life changes for you. Like you can't force the change in life. You know, you can only just give your effort and continue to be consistent.
That's facts. So what can people going into Feline's return, what can they expect, you know, from this new era of Natanya?
It's more escapism, but just really crazy beats. Like the beats are like 10 times better. Shorter songs, you know. This is my little it's just my
cute little package.
Yeah, my Pokemon here. It's not even Beyblade. Yeah, I'm just like ripping my Beyblades off, like throwing them into the ring.
Yeah.
And like very catchy hooks. Every song will be an earworm, no matter what genre
I can testify to
for.
that. I saw another co-sign recently, Raven Lene. That was amazing.
And I saw your interview with her.
Yeah, yes. that was around this time last year, actually.
Wow.
Same time last year.
Yes. Sorry for interrupting.
That's cool. That's your interview. But what did that mean to you? You know, the Raven Lene one, because I saw that cover you did of Computer Love.
Yeah.
Earlier, so I'm sure that was a big one.
I almost cried seeing that. Obviously, like she's doing such great things for herself right now, and I'm like proud from the outside as a fan. But I've been genuinely listening to her since the beginning of like falling in love with music like this. So I've watched her grow from every single stage. I've been there for every album. I was even at the listening party for Bird's Eye.
Oh wow!
Yeah, like my best friend.
Did she have one in London?
She did. In
Oh, I was at the one in the one in New York. Yeah.
Really? Okay,
yeah,
so
that was amazing. Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I was with my best friend. We were stood like behind her, like you know. We were like, wow, like what do you think this one's gonna do? Because like, we've really been following the journey, and I don't know. It was one of those like it was just so fantastical. Like you don't think when you put something out that somebody like that is watching. It was just proof that anyone could be there.
Could see,
you know. And I think Daydream was just like one of those outlier songs. Like I was really confused. Oh, really? You love it?
I love it. It's very poppy.
I try my best.
Right. It's very. I don't know. There's an instrument in the back. I don't know if it's harpsichord.
Yes.
Something very whimsical.
I love the harpsichord, by the way. That's my new thing. Nobody steal it from me. But it was an outlier. Like, obviously, Dangerous was the song everyone was freaking out about. But there was something in me. One day, I actually got in trouble for this with my label. I changed the single to Daydream about 3 times. I just, like, there was something that it needed to be. And by the time that we'd chosen for the last, like, we couldn't go back, basically. So it was like, we have the video ready, we have everything, this needs to just come out. And I remember like, when it first released, it was much slower, like in reception, like people really loved it deeply, but it wasn't like this big blowout moment.
Yeah.
So, you know, there was nothing in me that thought Raven would even, you know, find it. So when she did, like I was walking home from the station, like basically like, thank you God. You
wow,
know?
That's amazing.
Yeah.
One thing I love about this era so far that I've seen, especially in like the music videos and all, is the visual identity. So the music is one thing, but I've seen that you've kind of curated like a visual identity, a kind of style around Feline's return. What came first? Like, did the concept of the whole era, like as people call it, come first before the music? Because I feel like it really matches with what you're trying to do.
I have liked the things that I'm displaying in the Feline's Return rollout for a very long time. And I've been trying to communicate to people that that's who I am for a while. But it's more like budget. Sometimes like the scope of your ideas and your maturity stops you from giving the message over in the right way. Or even just like the fear of like I said, looking weird instead of looking cute, you know? And I was really nervous about that. But when I got to this point, like I said, I had such an all or nothing attitude. I think by the time I made like maybe the first song, I already made like, this massive mood board. Like I'll show it to you after.
Oh wow!
It has like crazy pictures from like so many music videos and films, and like I wrote this whole guide, like places Natanya hangs out. Like
wow!
I even chose the font from the beginning.
That's amazing.
So it kind of came around the same time, but I always had a vision for it. Like I always wanted it to be like this. I think. You know, but a lot of things with me, like I don't necessarily like engineer them in a lab. Like it's very feeling led. So I most of the time I was just sat in my bedroom dreaming. Like the Daydream video, I remember just listening to the song and just like going like this. And I was like,
I love it, like the castle and everything.
For real, my mum even walked in on me that day dancing to it, and I was just like imagining. I was like, oh, this is what needs to happen, and yeah, it came true. So
it's Daydream.
Yeah, it is a daydream, right?
One thing I see that you keep really constant is your lives. You go live pretty often, talk to your fans, interact with people. How do you kind of maintain and how do you create those boundaries around social media and use it in a way that doesn't feel, you know, out of place for you? Because I feel like a lot of artists, I think that's an area where people kind of struggle with. It's like, I want to make music. I don't really want to do too much. So how do you find that balance, really?
I'm still trying to learn it, to be honest. I grew up on social media. So when lockdown happened, I was 17. My knowledge of the internet and the music industry has been very central to like my entire career. And I'm now learning about the physical aspects, like touring and playing shows and doing things like this. Like I didn't know this existed before, you know? But I, at first, was really inspired by like people like Doja Cat. You know, like I love cult fan bases because I used to be a fan of so many people. I used to do the streaming parties and I wanted to create that same experience for my fans. But I do understand as I'm getting a bit older that when you start doing the physical things, like inadvertently, you don't even have to mean it. You're not going to be able to be on your phone as much, you know?
That is the truth.
That's the truth. I really can't go live every day like I used to. Like now I'm at my bedroom, but I do love to keep in touch with them. I even have a Discord and we call it every 2 weeks. I just love to talk to them and like, you know, let them know my thoughts and keep them central to the story because it is because of them that I'm here. And also I don't want to lose that light, you know. Sometimes the more that you go out and venture into the sea of like this whole industry, there's so many different people making music and you've got to have that one thing that makes you different.
Just different,
And I think the fact that my fans are so close to my story, that keeps the light on and that makes it seem special, even when it's not massive, you know? I think it creates this aura around it where you're like, okay, maybe this is going to do something because these people are riding for her.
The people that ride for you, like Natanya Hive, they ride for you. Like everyone I see that is familiar with your music, like is very passionate about it. It's not even like a passive, oh, I listen to her, like they're raving about it. Oh my God, you know her? Oh my God, this is crazy. So I think that's a really good sign.
Yeah, the communication. But yeah, I take it as a sign always, even if like it's not necessarily numbers wise, like doing everything I want. I'm always looking at how people react because energy is the most powerful thing. And if people have deep energetic responses to what you're doing, that can compound like a million different ways.
That's fact.
You know, it's better than like a million people being like, yeah, like she's cool.
Being just passive, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
That's what I keep telling people because like it's those cult fan bases that really can sustain a career.
Absolutely.
Like recently, I watched a lot of like legends perform over the weekend. I went for a music festival. These are people that started making music in the 80s and 90s, but they still have people coming out and writing really hard for them, knowing all the lyrics. And I'm like, wow, this is amazing.
Yeah,
like
it is
decades into a career,
and not even like some of the big careers that we're seeing like pop out in 2025. They're only because of cult fan bases.
Facts.
A lot of people had to basically go. I call it District 13. They had to go under and like speak to their fans only and just get to know like their cult fan base because obviously in the Hunger Games, District 13 is underground.
It's underground.
So they had to do the District 13 method and just keep in touch with the people that actually love their music and stop appealing to like the wider population,
to everyone,
you know, because you can't please everybody.
Because when people catch on, they catch on.
Exactly.
To be honest, like I would say the wider audience is so easy to please.
Oh yeah, but
once something goes viral,
yes,
that's what I'm saying. But it's fickle, you know. So
you got to know how to stay afloat because if you want to do this for life and you really love your art, like you have to understand it's not always going to look like flashes of cameras and like mega. Like it's not always going to be that way. There's going to be slumps, disappointing moments, times you don't even have anything to do. Even when you go and make an album, like. The generation that we're in right now, like, and the way people are addicted to like instant gratification.
That's the thing.
How are you supposed to disappear to the mountains for 1 year to make the great piece of art and then come back? You know, if you need that constant validation, you're never going to be able to do that.
That is so true, especially because I kind of started what I was doing on social media. So it was like the numbers, like it got to a point where I realized that my relationship with it was really toxic. Like I would work on a video idea for so long and then I would get so worked up to the point where it ruins my mood because I'm like, I worked hard on this. Meanwhile, a video where I'm just like doing nothing goes viral. I'm like, what is this? You know, it used to get on my nerves really badly. And then last year, I actually had this moment where I was like, okay, I can't do this anymore. Like this isn't helping. And this isn't healthy.
No.
Because I think I read somewhere, like, if you live by those cheers, you're going to die by the booze. And I was like, you know
what? That's real.
The end. Like,
very true.
I had to kind of mentally detach from. So if I see a video going viral, I was like, that's cool.
Yeah.
But I try not to, like, define myself by it. I think that's what it was.
And get wrapped up in it. It's very interesting because lockdown had I think it did a number on people.
100%.
And it made people really like misunderstand what industry looks like. You know, as we're starting to return back to the real world now, like people they're like, yeah, I know you want to pay me a lot of money to do, but like, where's my likes though? Like, they'd rather like be going viral than like making money, you know? And I'm like, damn, like you don't think you could do this like for real? Like, you know,
right. Why not both?
Thank you. And if you're doing it for real, and like when you see like everyone, like, you know, people that interview people, musicians or whatever, like I said, the money, they make sure it comes in and they make sure they show up to the shows, but they're not always going to be charting number one.
Real life work
you know?
isn't glamorous. Like a lot of people think, you know, like even people are like, oh my God, I want to be an influencer. I'm like, are you ready to do the work and film every day?
Do you see how people were crying when Trump said he's going to shut down TikTok? I was like,
man. People's livelihoods were going to be gone off in smoke.
For real.
Immediately. Like that was crazy. You mentioned touring with Destin Conrad, and I think that was really interesting because like getting to have that experience, especially as a young artist and as a developing artist, I'm sure what you learned on that tour is really crucial to who you even are today. So what did you take away from that? Is there anything you learned from touring and that experience? And then is there anything you learned from Destin in particular?
Oh, yes. Two very big things. Honestly, going on the tour was the biggest metaphor for everything that life is going to be doing this job. Because it makes you realize that not everything about it is pretty, but if you love the music and you love sharing your art with people, you're going to get up and be professional. Because before that, I was in my bedroom, like, you know, I do a TikTok when I felt like it, and things would just come to me and just be like, yeah, you know, never ever had to just show up, you know, no matter how I was feeling.
No matter how you were feeling.
Right? And like just continue to play for people, charm them. So that was one thing I really learned, especially continuing the tour after everything that happened in Berlin.
Yeah.
I remember phoning my mom. I was like, I want to give up. Like, I'm done. Like, I want to go home. And my parents were like, so listen, you mean to tell me this is your first tour and you want to leave the, like, cancel early? So you don't even get the badge of saying that I completed it?
Right.
Like, give your best for the last 4 stops, and then when you're home, you can cry about it after.
Right.
You know? But then also, that being said, I spoke to Destin in the event of everything, and we got really close on the trip. He gave me a lot of wisdom too, because, you know, he's amazing at just being this light character, like really easy to get along with. Like, you know, he's there to laugh with you, and, you know, even when he performs, like, it's very natural to him. But he let me know, like, Natanya, like, this is the result of all the work I had to do in the past that wasn't that pretty, that got me here, you know? It wasn't always like flashy. This is just the final flash. Like, it was a lot of like false starts or like mistakes on past tours, and he just really took me under his wing, you know? So I learned a lot from him, and just getting to hang out with a band of people that do music and see how teams work when they really, really care about each other, like, it was inspiring to me.
I love that. And I think it's very grounding to kind of get that support. Like, even just a figure of someone that's kind of been through the same thing.
Exactly right.
Just to have them affirm what you're doing and kind of give you that momentum just to keep moving forward.
Yeah, and just to believe in you, you know, because
belief goes a long way.
For real, it was just Destin. He just DM'd me, you know? So for that to happen and for it to be the precursor to everything that's gone down,
it's amazing.
Amazing.
Do you have a favorite moment on stage so far throughout your entire...
Let's think about it. I loved Coco on the tour in London. That was an amazing show. I just think we'd finished the 23 like dance break thing, and my friend choreographed it and performing that for everyone with that aggression. I just remember like seeing the crowd go crazy, and I was like, yeah, this is what it's all about. But recently, the show that I did in New York a few days ago.
Yes, I saw that. Oh, I wish I could make it. Oh,
we needed to
I saw that. That was great.
It was a great experience. Like, I don't know, there's something about the energy of this city where people are really tough to like break open, but once you do, like, they really, really rock with you.
Yeah, that's true.
And just hearing people's messages and like things they had to say about the music, and even like the reception, like people not being afraid to tell you how much they loved it. It's rare. Again, that was another moment of like, okay, this is what it's all about.
I love that.
You know?
I love that. One thing I didn't notice is that you actually haven't had any features yet. What is that first, Natanya? The person you feature, like, what is that even going to look like? Have you thought of that yet?
It's happened already, but it's coming out later in the year.
Ooh, okay, exciting to hear. Exciting to hear. I love that. So now that you've spoken about, you know, your entire story and like your journey and all the insightful things that you've learned, what does making it now look to you?
I think that obviously everyone has a different perception of success. I am a Nigerian woman, so I want to get to the top. Like, I want to win Grammys, you know? I really want to be like one of the not me getting so excited I forgot my words. Because I can see it in front of me. I want to be one of the biggest artists from Britain in the world. Well, like one day, like I want people to reference me the same way they talk about Sade, you know? I really want to be an icon. And I'm going to really try hard to learn everything I need to so that I'm ready for that once it happens. But that's what success means to me. However, that's my goal. Just because you throw the ball doesn't mean it's going to land exactly where you mean it to. I just think if I'm aiming for that, anything a few steps before that I'll be happy with, you know? Just to make sure that like I can continue to play my songs, people sing them back to me, I can travel the world and play them again and again, like I can make albums and have that creative freedom and like still raise a family comfortably, like that's the main thing.
I love that. And I feel like you're going to get there, to be honest. Like, we're rooting for you. I'm excited for this, first of all, Dangerous to drop on May 9th. Also excited just for y'all to hear the project. It's crazy. Guys. I've heard it. I keep spinning it. I'm happy that I get to hear it before all y'all. But,
amen.
but yeah, I'm excited. And yeah, thank you for having me.
Thank you for having me.
Looking forward to getting the crowd reaction tonight. We're gonna document it.
Oh, for real? This is gonna be fun. Ooh,
we're gonna document it. So I'm excited to see, you know, what people think about it and to see if they had the same set of like emotions that I had just hearing the project for the first time. Yeah, are you nervous about that anyway?
I'm always nervous. I mean, I did it in LA and it was a shock to the system. Like, I didn't know how to behave. Like, I was standing there like dancing to the song with no microphone and like, it's just a really freakish experience because you're just like playing your music for this crowd of people. Like, do you like it? Do you like it? Do you like it? You know. But like I said, the energy of New York is different. I think they really love music. So once it plays on the speakers and it's intimate as well, I think we're gonna get the best out of people. You know. Right. Plus, I'm proud of it. Like, it's undeniable music.
100%. You should.
If anything, when I was making it. Listening back to it, I was more embarrassed by the fact that like it's so clear, like you can kind of hear what I want from it, and I was embarrassed by that because I wanted to have this like, I just
want to be mysterious.
Yeah, like the artist's favorite artist vibe, you know, and like I don't want to be famous, you know. But
I love that hunger though, because we don't hear that a lot these days. I feel like there's a lot of like trying to be cool, and sometimes I hear a track, I'm like, I know you wanted to go harder.
Yeah,
but like
you held back. And I'm like, why though?
But I didn't feel that. Like just hearing like Dangerous, I'm like, damn. She's not holding back.
Calm down, sis. No, for real. And that's my approach to everything I do in life. Like they have me. I was dancing on the subway. Like I was in the middle of Times Square in the rain dancing. Like people walking with their umbrellas. Like, and I had headphones on as well, so I look crazy. But I do not care. Like anything I can do to show people how much I mean this and how much I want it, I'm gonna take that opportunity. Like I don't refuse anything, you know?
I love that. But thank you.
Thank you very much.
I had such a great time, honestly. Like, man, I even asked questions that I didn't even prepare for. But
on the fly?
On the fly.
Damn.
I'm getting better at my craft.
Yes,
you know?
Miss Oprah.
Well, thank you for having me.
Thank you
for creating this time. Honestly, it kind of feels a little deja vu because last year we did the Raven interview and then we had the listening party that evening.
Oh, really?
So it feels very deja vu right now because we're having the interview and then we have the party that
Manifest
evening.
that for me.
Yeah. Honestly, I'm so glad. I'm so happy. I'm a personal fan. It's not really often that I reach out to people to be like, I want to do an interview. Most times, actually, people reaching out to me to say, we want you to interview this. So I had to do that. I was like, okay, let me see. And when you said you were happy to do it, I was like, it's amazing. So it's not very often I'm excited.
Wow, thank you.
For an interview, so I want to say that.
That's crazy. And I appreciate it. I'm excited too. This is very cyclic for me. Yeah. Like I always used to watch music recommendations. I would always like wait because you'd be like, some new music you should not miss. And I would like scroll to the end. I'm like, has she heard me yet? So when you finally like reached out, I was like, yes, like this means I'm doing something right. And even the fact that you said like it was specific, like you really wanted it, like it's powerful. I think it just aligns with everything that you've been saying about the music and how much it touches people. You know, that people will just use their gifts and share them. So I really appreciate that.
And I know word of mouth is the best way to kind of share music. So I would tell everyone.
Yeah.
You should pay attention to her.
Yes, amen. I can't wait for you to meet the team and everyone. They're just like me.
Yeah. All right. Thank you.
Wanna touch me? Wanna feel like everything I say, just keep it real. We could finish